we've got a broken tube. Need a bit of auto steer. So it tricks the plant into thinking that it's being attacked, and it sort of goes into a survival mode. Good morning, everyone. Well, actually, I think it's the afternoon. Yeah, it is. Good afternoon, everyone. We're finally back sowing again. We did a couple of paddocks earlier on in February when it was dry, and then it rained a lot and we couldn't get on paddocks to spray them or sow them. It seems to be a bit of a theme every video, I think, talking about the rain, and we shouldn't complain because it was a fair bit different a couple of years ago. But there's almost a chance of rain every day at the moment, like whether it's just a little bit of drizzly stuff or proper rain, which is keeping things moist anyway, the soil and everything. But no, soil conditions down here at this place are pretty sandy, so therefore it's sort of dry enough. They're well drained soils, and we're putting a bit of canola in, Hyola 970 canola. So I've just started. We spent a bit of time mucking around this morning, moving seeders around. We've been contracting at other places earlier this week, and it's Friday today, and we're just come to do some of our own stuff now. So this is what the seed looks like. It's only a very small seed canola. I'm just checking to make sure. I've only done a couple of laps, and I'm just checking to make sure that the rate's going right. Generally, to calibrate this seeder, it's pretty easy. You just lift the wheel up off the ground and then turn this 52 times or something, and have a bucket underneath here catching the seed, and then you weigh it. But because we sowed canola last year, we already have a rough idea of the rate. So, but it's not going in very deep. It because it's only a small seed, it doesn't need to go very deep. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them very easily. I don't know if you can see that just there, the tip of my finger is a seed. It's leaving a pretty good job, I think. We've got the covering arrows on. So there's the fertilizer that we're using. So this canola is only going in at 3 kilos to the hectare. There's not very much seed. There's only 4 bags to do this whole 27 hectares, which is totally different compared to something like oats, which can be sown up to 100 kilos to the hectare. And if you're interested, the fertilizer, the DAP, is going in at 100 kilos to the hectare. Expensive process at the moment too. I think DAP's at around 1,800 bucks a ton, which hurts a little bit, but luckily stock prices and stuff are staying up, which is good, which helps. Time to fill up. So this thing is called a grouper. It just holds fertilizer. It holds 2 or 3 ton of fertilizer in the front bin here, and then however much seed in the back bigger bin there, and just makes it a lot easier for loading seed and fertilizer. I haven't got canola seed in the back because we don't need. There's only 4 4 20-kilo bags of that, so I just pour that in. So this is actually the first time we've been able to use it because we haven't been able to get the trucks in anywhere. Just been too wet, or you know, crossings that are too deep or something. So finally able to use it, and it's already so much easier than bucketing it. It's good footy training anyway. So just to double check the rate, I can see here that right now the seed is about level with the bottom of this silver stainless steel plate. So what I'm going to do is, it's going at 3 kilos to the hectare, and 1 full bucket of these is 1.5 kilos. So I'll put two buckets of these in, and then I'll do a hectare and just make sure it's triple check that it's going out at the same rate. So after I've done a hectare, the seed should be back about level with that again. So you might be wondering, why are we planting canola? Why are we planting crops at all? So for us, we won't, like, this is not a crop that's going to be harvested for grain or anything. We don't have the gear to do that or anything. The reason we are sowing the canola is for our ewes and lambs. So we will start lambing at the end of May. That's when the AI polled Dorset ewes will start, and then the rest of the studs will lamb in June, along with some crossbred first cross ewes, then some merinos in July, and then more crossbreds and merinos in August, September. So the idea of planting these crops is so we can lamb ewes onto the crop, and 2 reasons is so we can wean, then later on wean the lambs onto the crops. So this is a winter crop. It'll only be grown, being sown now in 1st of April today it is, and then we will spray it out again in October, November. So the idea of these is to land the ewes onto it, and then it gives the lambs a really good start to life, as well as keeping the ewes in great condition as well. So one of the things we'll probably have to supplement with the cereal crops is, they lack calcium, magnesium and zinc, will supplement them with something like a cause mag lick, which has all that stuff in it. I was listening to a podcast a while ago now, but they actually saw massive growth rate increases in lambs when they supplemented the lambs with cause mag, just because the cereal crops lack, so cereal being wheat, barley, oats, lack all those nutrients. So that's one thing I'm pretty keen to do. And also I talked about it a little bit in a previous video, I can't remember which one, but if we've got ewes lambing on crop, hopefully that means they're not going to be needing supplementary feeding, so grain or pellets, and therefore we're not going into the paddock as much, disturbing them and possibly causing them to run off from their lambs, especially in merinos too. It's not uncommon for a merino ewe to walk away from one of her lambs if she has twins. But that's just merinos. Yeah. Thing I will mention, I said earlier how we'd sowed 12 hectares of wheat and 15 hectares of oats at the home property, and I actually put the twin stud ewes and the AI stud ewes on the 12 hectares of wheat. Been watching a few videos lately of a fella on Instagram. I'll put his name just here somewhere, and he's really interesting about what he's doing over in England in terms of trying to use less chemicals, spraying insects and disease out of cereal crops. And what he does is he grazes his wheat when it's not very tall. He doesn't let it get very tall, and grazes it right down. And there's an enzyme in the sheep's saliva. Well, I think it's most animals' saliva. There's an enzyme in the saliva that obviously when they eat the wheat plant, it gets on the plant, and it tricks the plant into thinking it's getting attacked, and it sort of goes into a survival mode. And then once the sheep have chewed it all off, it tillers out a lot more. Instead of sort of growing straight up into stalky, it just tillers out and puts a lot more leaf out, and that obviously causes a direct increase in yield for him at the end of the day. But for us, that can mean more vegetative, like more leaf area for the stock to graze on. So just something that I thought was really interesting. If you do have a bit of time on Instagram, he's got a few videos there, and he talks about emissions and things like that. Alrighty, so I've just pulled up here for us to check things, and we've got a broken tube just snapped off there. That's meant to be up there like that. So I'm going to pull this off and take it home and weld it. And it's Friday night, so we're gonna knock off, and I'll come back out in the morning and I've done about 13 or 14 hectares I think, and this paddock's about 26, so I'll come back and do what I can in the morning. Footy tomorrow too, so we'll just see how we get on. Dad might come down and finish it off for me. We'll pull this thing off anyway. I know what'll fix that. Alrighty guys, good morning again. I was going to end that video there last night, but I thought, no, I'll come out here to this wheat paddock in the morning and show you what I meant by grazing the wheat early and just chewing the top out of it. So these sheep came on here about a week and a half ago, and what they've done is they've just chewed the tops off the leaves. And from my understanding is that, so when the sheep obviously chew it, their saliva gets on the plant, and the enzyme in the saliva that I was talking about tricks the plant into thinking that it's being attacked, and it sort of goes into a survival mode. So one of the first things it'll do is get its roots down a lot deeper. I took a picture before I put them on here, and I'll take another picture in a couple of weeks and I might put it on my Instagram. But the roots should dig down a lot deeper, and therefore hopefully, I guess, pick up a bit more nutrients, and then another thing, it'll till her out a lot more, and new leaves will come up and hopefully provide a lot of vegetative growth and feed for the sheep. So I'll probably take these sheep off here today or tomorrow, and move them into a different paddock, because I think they've done their job now. You don't want to graze it too hard, because it'll set the plant back way too much. Be interesting to see how this goes. I'll be sure to keep you informed and on what's going on and how it's going. But yeah, as I said, I took some photos of the root mass before we put the sheep on here, and it'd be cool to see if there is any effect, you know, in a couple of weeks maybe, or 3 weeks, maybe not even that long. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video now, so I just thought I'd show you that. I just watered up that pipe there this morning, and go and put that back on, and yeah, that'll be it for another video. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Alrighty, see ya, bye. This is the good life.